Today I'm going to show you another cast iron cooking lesson. We're going to cook chicken and Spanish rice in a Dutch oven, cast iron Dutch oven. Now if you're out camping, you can just throw all this stuff in there and get some circles under it. But since we got the stove right here, I like to put a little bit of oil in my Dutch oven. And I've already got the Dutch oven hot before we turn the camera on. And you gotta watch it because you can burn the rice, but basically you just coat all the rice with a little bit of oil and you want to brown it just a little bit.
Hey, does anybody have
We're recording. Okay, so that's gonna go on. I take the stove, I turn the stove to about 350. You can do it at 300. Make sure you get all the rest of your stuff out of the stove. Alright. And you should put the rack kind of low in a gas stove. I don't know about electric. But, okay, and so this is 2 cups of rice. I got a whole chicken that I thawed out and rinsed off. And then I take, you got 2 cups of rice, you put twice as much water in the rice, and I use Nor Caldo con Sabor de Pollo, the chicken bouillon in the Mexican aisle at the grocery store. And so I take one of those bouillons and I put it in water, and I usually try and crush it up. It probably doesn't matter to do this. What I did was I took a combination of some Spanish rice that somebody taught me how to make and some Dutch oven stuff, and I came up with this. And it's kind of a throw together recipe, but the beautiful thing about this, the beautiful thing about this, in my opinion, is you really don't even have to worry about it. You turn the stove on, you get this stuff, well, I'll show you how I get it all in the Dutch oven, and throw it in the oven, and then I just go and do what I'm doing for 2 or 3 hours. I don't even worry about it until I can smell it. If you're going to be home, if you're not going to be home, turn it down to 200 and don't worry about it for 4 or 5 hours is fine. I mean, if you're not going to be in the house, but if you're going to be in the house, 300, leave it alone until you smell it, and then when you smell it, all I do is I use a thermometer and stab the chicken and make sure it's over 170 degrees. And see, the thing about, if you know about Dutch ovens, I'm not going to tell you anything you don't know, but if you don't know about Dutch ovens, this lid probably weighs, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 pounds, something like that. When you put it on here, it seals with a little bit of the oil that's on the lid, and the weight of that, with that 3 or 4 or 5 pounds, however heavy the lid is, depends on, I got 4 or 5 Dutch ovens, so I mean, they're all different, but the weight of that creates like a pressure cooker, and when you smell the chicken in the house, that means that it's boiled inside of here and lifted the lid enough to let some of the odor out, and it makes the house smell really good. It smells like Grandma's house, like roasted chicken. But what my point is that smell gives you an indication that this has already been hot enough to boil on the inside. Well, what does water boil at, son?
212 degrees.
212 degrees, that's right. That homeschooling worked out pretty good for you, didn't it? Alright, see, I burnt a little bit of the rice because I was talking and not stirring it. Just stir it around. You might need to put a little bit more oil in it if you don't get all the rice coated with oil. And I don't really know what this does, but I know I like the results, so I continue to do it this way. It makes the best Spanish rice in the whole world. Now, usually what I do is I cut up an onion and throw it in there. I didn't have an onion, so I just found some onion soup mix, and we're going to use it. And I've done this before, and it's just fine. What I would do is right now, I would throw some onion in there, and it would sizzle around and start to soften the onion. And then I I when I go to the grocery store, I buy diced tomatoes, canned, that are on sale, so I always have them to cook with and to make salsa with. That's about all there is to that part. And with any of this stuff, you want to use a little bit of seasoned salt, almost always. Use seasoned salt in anything you put in the cast iron, in my opinion. Just a little bit of seasoned salt. Maybe some garlic. No big deal. Alright. I didn't get this bouillon mixed up as much as I usually do, but it's not an issue really. So there we got it. That is going to turn into fantastic rice. And what I like to do is just take the bird, and I always put the bird in the Dutch oven with the breasts down. Then the breasts are in. Don't move around so much, son. Just back off. When the breasts are down, that means that they're going to be really tender and juicy. So that's what I do right there. And this deal, I'm just going to put the onion soup mix around like that. No big deal. I might just make sure that that onion soup mix isn't going to clog up in one spot. But see what happens in, also what happens in a Dutch oven is the water boils, and this is the lid with these little knobs. When it's upside down, the vapor hits the roof and then comes off of those and drips back down, and so it's like a circulating of the moisture inside of there. So this will help with the top of the chicken not drying out. So I think I remembered everything, didn't I? And that's about it. So all I'm going to do is throw it in the for probably about 2-3 hours until I smell it. Now we're cooking this tonight. It's almost 8 o'clock. So by the time we get done doing everything, it'll probably be like 10. And what I'll do is I'll just take it out of there and let it cool. And then when we want to eat it tomorrow, all we got to do is warm it up in the oven. Take about 15 minutes or whatever. And it's super good that way. Anything that you put in a crock pot or a Dutch oven or anything like that is always better the next day, because it sits in there and all the flavors meld together. And when you warm it up the second time, it always tastes better, like chili and stew and stuff like that. So we're gonna stop recording here for a little bit, and then when I'm done, I'll pull that out and I'll show you what the results are. All right, this should be done. This house smells like roasted chicken. See the little bit of steam coming out of the... See the rice is boiling? That chicken's done. That was what, 2.5 hours?
Yeah.
2.5 hours at 350. And yeah, it's pretty done. So I guess all I wanted to finish off with besides seeing the end result there, was the other great thing about cooking in your Dutch oven is if I was going to go somewhere, I could just throw this in the back of the pickup, literally set it in the back of the pickup, and go where I'm going, as long as it's not, even if it was an hour away, if I drove for an hour and got there, this is still hot and ready to eat, and you look like, you know, Martha Stewart or something. Everybody's real impressed. And what I do with this bird is I just get a platter, and I usually take, sometimes it takes 2 people if it's a bigger bird, and I just get a hold of the whole bird just like that, and then plop it onto a platter and then take it apart. But I'm not going to do that right now because we're going to eat this tomorrow. But I just wanted to demonstrate that and show you one of the best things about cast iron Dutch ovens. And the other good thing about this is when we're done, we scrape some of the rice will be cooked sort of crispy around the edges, and it's the tastiest part. You just scrape it all out of there, rinse the Dutch oven out, get it hot, coat it with some Crisco or bacon grease, whatever you got, and put the lid on, but I put little spacers on the lid so it can breathe, and then it can sit for however long till you're done. So anyways, I guess that's a Spanish rice, chicken, cast iron Dutch oven, ShaneMussetter.com. Thanks. Okay, so we warmed up the chicken from yesterday. I was at work, I sent my son a text message, had him put it in the oven. And I just wanted to finish this video with showing you how I take these chickens apart. Now, for one person, that right there, that leg, that is a nice plate right there. And then we just get them some rice. So whoever likes the leg, that's good. And then I like to take the breast off for whoever likes the breast. I like to eat the legs myself, but I'll just slice the breasts, as many slices as I can get off according to the size of the bird. And this will feed, I don't know, probably about 6 people. It's nice if it feeds 4 people, and then we take the chicken and strip all the meat off of it and make either chicken enchiladas or chicken soup or something. So you can see that chicken is really well done. And here's the crusty edges that I was talking about of the rice. See how it's a little bit browned on the edges? This is some of the most fantastic Spanish rice you'll ever have. Not only does it have all the ingredients that I put in it, but it's got a lot of the flavor that came out of that chicken as the chicken cooked, and it is fantastic. So, are you ready to eat lunch? Okay, thanks.